Hello everyone. Today's session will be about what do plants need to grow. Please subscribe and like the video to receive further new videos and activate the notification bar. So what do plants need to grow? What are the nutrients required by the plant to grow, to make new leaves, to make new cells, to grow taller, to grow bigger? In this video, we'll go over these in details. So the importance of water first and mineral plants and minerals in plants. This video is brought to you by Simple Biology. What do plants need to grow? They need water, they need nutrients, nitrates, sorry, they need calcium, they need iron, and they need magnesium. So why do they need water? Water is very important in photosynthesis. Water is a major component of the photosynthesis reaction. The photosynthesis reaction is carbon dioxide plus water gives me sugar plus oxygen. So water is a major reactant in the process of photosynthesis. Water is very important in support. When plant cells absorb water into their vacuole, they will like push on the walls of the cell. That's what's called turgor pressure. This keeps the cells turgid and gives hardness or stiffness to the stem and the leaves and give them support. Add to these, water is another major part of the transport system. All the minerals are transported via the sap in the plant, and this sap is mainly water. If we're talking here about the sap through the xylem or the sap through the phloem, both of them mainly water. One major function of water, which is also in animals and plants, shared by animals and plants, it's cooling. It's the same thing like when the animals sweat or when we sweat, when this sweat evaporates, this leaves a cooling action on the body. And in plants, the same thing. When plants transpire or evaporate water from their leaves, this water, as it evaporates, it absorbs the energy from the plant underneath, and this uh, leaves the plant cooler. Okay, so water again, it's a major factor in photosynthesis. It's responsible for support, needed for transport, and needed for cooling, and this is the major functions of water. Now, why nitrates? Nitrates are very important in making proteins. Nitrates are very important, or nitrogen is a major factor or the major component of DNA. So nitrogen is a major component, sorry, nitrogen is a major component of DNA, and it's a major component of proteins. For both, the growth requires proteins and requires new DNA. If you look here, these yellow areas between the veins, here we have stunted growth. So the leaves, like, they turn yellow and they die with time. The growth is stunted. And don't forget that the nitrates are required for making new cells because they are required for making proteins and for making DNA. The next nutrient here on the list is calcium. Calcium is very important for the middle lamella between the plant cells. Now, if you look at this leaf, at these leaves, like, they're almost dead, right? And they will turn yellow eventually, and they are crinkly leaves. Calcium is required for the middle lamella. It's the calcium and the pectin, the polysaccharide pectin. When it binds to calcium, they make calcium pectate. This calcium pectate hold the plant cells together, and this is very important to keep all the plant cells attached to each other and make communication between the adjacent plant cells. So calcium is the second, or the on the list. We're done. Next on the list we have magnesium. If you look at these two leaves, this leaf has too many yellow parts, and this leaf is perfect. The difference between these two leaves is that the availability of magnesium for the plants. The first one has low magnesium. This low magnesium results in slow growth. Why slow growth? Magnesium is a major component of chlorophyll. Magnesium is a major component of chlorophyll. This means without magnesium, there is no chlorophyll. And chlorophyll, it's the main pigment in photosynthesis. It's the pigment that absorbs light and captures light. So without magnesium, we have less chlorophyll. And without chlorophyll, we have less photosynthesis. This results in the yellowish appearance of the leaves. Okay. Add to these, magnesium has another function, which is activating plant enzymes for DNA synthesis. So those plant enzymes, if they are not activated by magnesium, DNA will not be synthesized. This means the growth will be stunted, and this brings us back to the slow growth. Why the absence or the deficiency in magnesium results in slow growth. On the list, we still have iron as well. If you look at these leaves, like technically, if you compare the leaves of all the cases, all the nutrient mineral deficiencies, somehow they are similar appearance. They have similar appearance. But here you can see that the yellowish parts are between the veins. Around the veins, it's green a little bit, and between them is yellow. This happens when you over fertilize the soil. Or you waterlog the soil. So too much watering and too much fertilizers added to the soil will result in iron deficiency because the water will leach away the minerals from the soil, including the iron. And when we over fertilize the soil, fertilizers usually they contain NPK, they contain N, P, and K, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So the balance in the soil will be disturbed. That's why we'll end up with iron deficiency. This results at the end in yellowing between the veins. Okay, now how can we test, how can we investigate the deficiency in minerals or how can we investigate the effect of mineral deficiency on the growth of the plants? In this experiment here, we have uh, a full nutrient solution here, and we have healthy growth as a result. On the other side, I have distilled water. Distilled water means has no nutrients, nothing inside, just water. And obviously, if you compare the result of the full nutrient here compared to the result of the distilled water alone, you find the big difference between them. Distilled water means no nutrients at all, no minerals, nothing. Of course, the plant, how does it grow with nothing? Just water. Sometimes, you know what, like when you receive flowers, you put these flowers in water and they stay fine for maybe 2 3 days, but you're not putting them in distilled water, you're putting them in tap water, which contains already some minerals. That's why they stay alive for a few days, not distilled water. So be careful when you think about distilled water and tap water. On the other hand, here I have this nutritive medium has everything except nitrates. This has everything except nitrates, while this has everything except magnesium. This one has everything except calcium. If you compare these three, if I want to compare them without nitrates, without calcium, without magnesium, it seems that the plants are still doing better in the absence of magnesium compared to the absence of calcium versus the absence of nitrates. Remember, magnesium is an important part of chlorophyll, important component of chlorophyll. Calcium is needed for calcium pectate, hold cells together. Look at the result here. Death of the leaf tips and stunted growth, no growth or slow growth. Nitrates are needed to make proteins and DNA. So a nutritive medium without nitrates also results in slow growth or minimum growth. It seems that magnesium has the least effect in here. All of these, regardless of the deficiencies, are better than distilled water alone. And if you compare them to the full nutrients is the best here. This full nutrient in this experiment works as a control group. This full nutrients work as a control group. Okay, so without nutrients at all, we have this without nitrates, the second one, the third one without magnesium, and the fourth one without calcium. For now, this is the all what the plants need. The plants, as we said, need minerals and need water. Just to wrap up, they need water for photosynthesis, they need water for support and transport, and they need nitrates for proteins and DNA, magnesium for making chlorophyll, calcium for calcium pectates, and iron has also many other functions. Thank you for watching this video. Stay alert for more videos. Thank you.